G'day YouTube, how is everyone today? Finished work, thought I'd come down, enjoy this lovely afternoon because the weather is really nice and I wanted to get down the beach while it's a low tide. As you can see, it's a really low tide at the moment, so it's actually a good time to get down here and before too many other people start to get down here. So I'll just pan around a bit and I'll show you what's in. As you can see there, Double Island. If you got a few $1,000,000 spare, you'll be able to buy it. The Queensland government at the moment's got it for sale. There's an old resort on there and I'm panning towards Palm Cove and then I'll pan around back to Palm Cove Jetty, back to Double Island. And Double Island, because it's known as Double Island because of that. The little island that you can see now, that is connected by reef. So on low tide, that is reef that connects both the mainland island and also Double Island. And you can see going straight, there's Palm Cove, which is it's a big tourist place. There's quite a lot of hotels there. A lot of tourists get there, they love the place. And I'll just pan around. And as you can see, looking south, that was north I was looking at, and then you can see down south and then towards Cairns and beyond. And as you can see, it's quite a good afternoon, and like I said, it's a good afternoon to come down and just have a quick chat and get into nature. And I guess the topic is, you know, getting out in nature and enjoying the simple things in life. And back in Australia, back in the past, we used to have that saying, enjoy the simple things in life, get out in nature. It was a bit of a promo decades ago, and it's something that people don't really follow these days because, you know, they're stuck on screen, especially the kids. Too much screen time. I'm not going to talk about screen time, everyone knows about that. It's been flogged to death. But you know, the pros and cons, you know what I mean. But my take on this is because I guess when you're younger with the outdoors, you take it for granted. But as you get older and you get into your career and you work a lot and you're stuck in a job, working a lot of hours, 50 hours a week, whatever it is. And then suddenly, as the years roll by and the decades, or the lost decades maybe, depends which way if you're a half-glass full person, the decades roll past and then suddenly you've been working for a long time, you may have acquired a lot of toys, a lot of things, but the time that you've given to your career, your job, is usually, but not always, at the expense of your mental health and your health and well-being, that is both mental and physical. And then suddenly, if you've been lucky enough to be brought up going camping or around the countryside and being able to access the countryside, as you get a bit older, you shift your thinking. Your thinking starts to shift to something more simplistic, something a little bit more simple, and more towards nature. Now, of course, this is not everyone. Not everyone fits the same mold, which is, thank God, but I'm just saying in general, and especially people like myself that was brought up right on the beach side, but I also could access the countryside and used to do a lot of camping. So for me, when I was living overseas for those 10 years and I hit those hard times as a result of mismanaging my life, I used to yearn to get back to a place that was, obviously green, had a green landscape like what I have here at the moment. And I guess that is one of the main reasons I moved to North Queensland, is because less population, beautiful area, lots of adventure activities, you can get into. You know, it's not perfect. No way it's perfect. We get a lot of heat up here. The water's half the year full of jellyfish. There are crocodiles and other interesting types of nature up here. But it's not around every corner, but it's there. You only got to be mindful of that anyway. You don't have to be, don't get too, you know, too stressed about it, but just be mindful of that. That there are, you know, things that can kill you here. I guess that's why, maybe that's one of the reasons I lived here. Puts you on your toes, makes you feel alive. But going back to what I was saying, as you get a little bit older and you live in those big cities like I did with Ho Chi Minh City, for example, you start to really pine for that and miss that, and realize that living in these cities, although different times or different periods of your life are fantastic, absolutely fantastic, but as you get a bit older and things change and you realize there's too much mental stimulation around in these big cities, there's too much happening, too much noise, too much pollution, you start to question what you're doing where you're at, and you seek out change. And of course that's what I did. I've covered that in other videos and reasons why I did that, which is really important for, you know, for a variety of reasons I've covered already. But we know, and the research is out there, this is just not my opinion. I don't base everything, well, most things I say here are really not opinion based. It's also mostly, sorry, I should say, based on research. And we know if you can access that, and I always say that because a lot of people can't access or do the things that I mention on this channel, and I get that, I understand that, and that's why you've got to choose, you know, the options that are out there and which options you're able to access. But the research is out there. Getting out in nature is very important for those who can get out there, and most people, sometime in their lifetime, most but not all, will search a green space. And that's part of the human spirit, because, you know, our DNA goes back to that, and that's something that's hard to fight for most people. Some people can, they have no worries with it, but majority of people, if you're born and have lived long periods in nature, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, especially mentally, when you fight against that. And that's one of the things that drove me back, among others, but more or less being away from the masses and being, just panning around here, more to nature and being a part of nature and being able to access nature. I'll just flip it over. See you. You can see down south there again. Yeah, a lot of people walk their dogs here. Dogs are allowed, apparently, I'm not sure, off the leash. So a lot of people bring their dogs down here for that reason. I'll that over again. You can still see it panning around, and back to my mug. Yeah, so it's one of the things that I always, you know, I always pine for, you know, yearn for, whichever way you want to spin it, but missed when I lived in a big city. You hit the point where you need to move for your own health and well-being, and that's what obviously happened to me, and that is the reasons I got back and headed north when I got back to Australia, because I wanted to be more near nature, where I can access nature and get into it really easy. And today, I'm able to walk down here and access that, because it's only a few hundred meters from my doorstep, and I can just chuck, you know, the phone and whatnot, a selfie stick in my bag, and head down the beach, and then have a chat to you guys and show the world, you know, where I live, which is obviously far north Queensland. And I did a video a few days ago on the Barron River, and it was quite warm. And again, we had that this morning, quite humid. But at least now the afternoons are becoming really nice. And hopefully, fingers crossed and toes, in a few more weeks, hopefully a week or two, probably going to get more rain at the end of the week, maybe next week after that. that humidity, especially at night, should subside and make it, you know, more comfortable to sleep. Not that I've got the AC on at the moment, but yeah, you toss the coin whether you should put the AC on or not. That's how warm it gets. But yeah, so, you know, this video is basically touches on the points why nature is, you know, and most people know this, but for one reason or another, they don't get out of it, get out into it, I should say. Maybe they get out of it, but you know what I mean. They don't get out into nature because they find it, you know, they maybe not be able to access that, or they're buggered from work or whatnot. You got to make the effort. I know I do. You know, I've come down here after work. Luckily today it was only an 8-hour work day, thank God, so I can get down here and enjoy that and make a video, because I'm going to be pretty busy the rest of the week. I probably won't be able to get another one in, so I'll try and keep a few rolling each week. But yeah, you know, the research is out there. Just, you know, to sum it up, you get in nature, it's gonna switch on your parasympathetic nervous system, get you out of that sympathetic nervous system and lower your cortisol and all those good things. And if you can access it for, you know, like a few hours, even half a day, it's gonna really, you know, make the world of difference. I'll just switch it over again because I want to wrap this one up. Just show you down south a bit. If you can see in the far distance, we've still got the stinger nets up. Yeah, the stinger season doesn't really finish until a few more weeks, and I won't get in the ocean until at least the end of May. I just don't take the risk. It's too risky. Anyway, I'll just flip that back, and I'm going to wrap this one up. So get out in nature, really important. If you like it, all those good things. I don't want to, you know, I'm not trying to sell the soul to YouTube world, but I will keep these rolling and showcase where I live and talk about things that are important, like mental health and society, and those who suffer, and those people I meet who obviously, you know, do it in silent, hey. Anyway, until next time, I hope you have a good day wherever you are in the world. Until next video, peace out.